Hey, what's up? It's me, Awesome Ali.
And I'm Raisa. Welcome back to another episode of
Adults, Teens Need to Know. Who are you?
And what do you do? Today we are featuring Ambassador Dr. Raymond Harlall. He is an author, speaker, and coach. Let's give him a warm welcome.
Woo!
Hey guys, it's so great to be here.
Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us. We're really glad to have you on the show. So, Dr. Raymond, as we are going to start off, as always on our show, with two very important questions, and that is, who are you and what do you do?
Okay, first off, I'm a dad, husband, entrepreneur, investor, and coach. And my passion is to help other people build a business around their passion. And I believe that's the only way to help make the world a better place, because I'm involved in lots of philanthropic work across the globe. And if I have to keep giving money to people, I'll go bankrupt or broke. So the best way I can help the world is to invest in myself, keep adding value to myself, my company, and learning new skills and talent, but also, most importantly, teaching that to other people in places who don't have the access to the knowledge and skills that can make their life better right where they live.
Wow,
that's
I love
amazing. And with that being said, you are an ambassador, and you say you do a lot of philanthropic work. You also won the Nelson Mandela Award of 2020. So how did you get the title of ambassador and doctor and winning these wonderful philanthropic awards?
Yeah, I'm just a regular guy, but people see me with a big heart, wanting to help, and I was just doing what I was doing, writing books, hosting live events, and similar things that you guys are doing. And I'm so honored to be on your show, because this is amazing. We're from the same country, and we met at the same event in Toronto. Yeah. You guys are authors too. It's just awesome. I'm excited to be on your show, first of all.
Oh, thank you
so much. So, Dr. Raymond.
Raymond is fine, guys.
So can you tell us a little bit about your past and how you think that has actually led you to become the person who you are today?
Yeah, I came from I was born and raised in Guyana, which is South America, only English-speaking country. Most people haven't heard of it, and we have a Caribbean culture because we're in the CARICOM, which is part of the Caribbean islands, and we're of Indian descent, meaning our grandparents came from India. And just like you guys, I'm saying we're Canadian citizens, and now I also live in America. So it's my background is quite diverse. I'm able to work with as many cultures and religion and race and ethnic makeup and people from different economic background and status, and that allows me to gain all the knowledge I can and see how I can bridge the gap to empower others.
Wow.
Very nice.
So growing up in Guyana, which is considered to be a developing country, what sort of challenges did you face while trying to pursue your dreams?
I love Guyana. It's a great country, but I feel, as you said, developing country, meaning there's less technological advances. There's less financial opportunities and entrepreneurial opportunities, and being able to come to a first world country like Canada, America, UK, I'm able to, meanwhile, these countries, Canada is 150 years old. We just celebrated our 150. America is 250 years old. London, UK is centuries old. And so here we are comparing Guyana, the Caribbean, most of Africa, even India, with these wealthy countries. And those countries are all about 50 years old. You may say, how come the country is 50 years old? Well, most of them were ruled by the British just over about 50 years ago. So they had the British system, and then when the British left, they took all their systems with them, and their wealth and their knowledge and their skills.
Yes.
So can we expand on that for a minute, where you're saying when the British left, they also took their systems. So in your philanthropic work, do you help rebuild these systems in these different countries?
Well, I wouldn't say exactly yes, because I was in the wrong then when they had their systems. But however, I'm looking to even the plane now. And so I'm not building on the old, but I build on the new, because sometimes it's hard to change older people's mind. But I like to go, like in Guyana, have a project where we're planting 1 million coconut trees. You look around, there's coconut trees all around, and nobody, when I say nobody, there's a large percentage of the coconut trees that were planted by my grandfather and great grandfather. The last generation didn't plant as much coconut because it had a bad reputation at that point. Now coconut is seen in hair product, in skin product. It's in my milk that I drink with almond. It's very healthy. There's so many great products. If you go to Walmart, you'll probably see an entire aisle of coconut products mixed in with other things. So that means coconut is a tropical it's a tropical plant. It only can grow in warm climates. And so all these wealthy countries that we're talking about, most of them have winter. So none of this coconut can grow in any other wealthy country. And so there's a large opportunity here that for a native plant that's growing in developing countries, why aren't we planting more so we can export? And this brings value to the country. This actually makes the dollar stronger. And the more you export out of the country as compared to importing in the country, that's how the dollar gets its power.
Mm. And I love how you look at everything from a business type of perspective, right? So, you're walking down Walmart or you're walking down Target or wherever you shop, right? And you're noticing all these coconut things, and then you start to connect the dots, right? You see coconut here, you see coconut there, and you realize, Guyana, coconuts, why don't we just plant this to help you guys build back up, right? I love that. And like you were saying about helping them to get their entrepreneurial side back and growing, right? That's what you're doing, even though you're, planting the trees, which is both good for the environment and good for the economy. I love that. So can you also tell us a little bit about your very first business that you started and what type of lessons you learned from that?
My very first business was basically, my parents were business people. They had stores and shops, and they're also pastors and missionary. And so I was blessed to have my sister live in America when I was in Guyana. And so she would send barrels and cool stuff back home to Guyana. And I remember I was probably in middle school, and she would send these gel pen. It was like, we never had them before. It's like all these different colors, but she'll send a big pack. And I took 2 or 3 to school at once, and everybody loved it. So I said, great, if you want it, you can buy it. And I started to sell, basically this is my first business, selling. Well, this is not the actual pens, but selling pens. It was natural. Like, I got lucky to have somebody who lived in North America to send something fancy and trending. And I was able to, I got them for free. She sent them for me. I don't know if she knew I was selling them, but I keep asking for more. and I made a lot of money that way in middle school even.
Wow. I love that. I think in middle school, some of our most creative business ideas happen there. In terms of drawing, when I was in middle school too, instead of selling pens, I would make people pay for my drawings, and I would take the pen and just draw on their arm. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, so that's really cool that you actually saying that, because you look at yourself now, and the next question is, if we were both attending high school now, so farther than middle school, what does the 15-year-old or 16-year-old Raymond look like? What does he do? What's his lifestyle at this point?
Yeah, through high school, and I was a nerd. I had glasses. I just needed the braces, but I didn't really settle for them. I couldn't handle it. So I would have been a really nerd with glasses and braces. Not that anything's wrong with that, but you got to realize that when you're in school, you have to enjoy school age, because your parents are taking care of the bills. You almost have no idea of all the financial weight on the shoulder of your parents. So when you're in school, make the best out of school, especially middle school and high school. Once you finish high school, it's all on you if you want to go to college or not. I don't highly recommend college if you're an entrepreneur, but it could be complementary. And it doesn't mean you have to go to college right after high school. You can go later. It's not going anywhere. And now with COVID, we're seeing like systems, institutions, industries are caving in. Now you guys are on a lock. The city is on a lockdown. Like, we've never seen something like this. And now when you look around, who are the people making it? Entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And people and businesses that are actually based around the basic necessity of life, which is food, clothing, and shelter.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Definitely, okay, especially now, right, with a boost of online stores, right? The opportunities for today to be able to start a business out of practically anywhere in the world with a Wi-Fi connection, right? Hello, Raymond, Aaron, thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Hey, Raymond.
Yes, this is actually the guy who brought us all together. This is helped us out.
Raymond Aaron out of Toronto, Canada. Amazing guy.
Yes, indeed. So as I was saying, being able, if you have a Wi-Fi connection and a laptop today, you can literally start a business out of anywhere in the world, right? The ability with Shopify, Canadian-based company, right? Starting up, allowing that to be able to connect consumers to the online market and e-commerce. The possibilities are just limitless. So I'm glad to hear that.
Mm-hmm. And as you were talking about your mission and your new business in Guyana with planting the trees, what are some of your other achievements and other business goals that you have for yourself?
Well, just planting the trees is one thing, but the main thing behind planting the trees is that I get to work with different countries in different continent, and even at the United Nations level. And the United Nations has a goal by 2030, and that is the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And goal number 1 is actually end poverty. Goal number 2 is end hunger. 13 is climate action. 17 is partnerships. And so I use partnerships, collaboration, in other words, to create business ventures that will actually make the world a better place. And so when I say plant coconut trees, great. I know it's a profitable business, 1. 2, it helps the environment. You plant more trees, it removes carbon emissions from the environment, from the air we breathe. And 3, it's not just large-scale coconut cultivations we're planting. We're also empowering most people that lives in poverty in country areas. They have an abundance of land behind them, around them, all the way, and they have no clue what to do with the land.
Yeah.
And so the educational part of our company is to teach them and say, hey, actually teach. And we also have an investment arm of the company where if they don't have the money to start planting the coconut trees or make the fence around them, we actually invest in them as with them as partners, where we say, you have the land, great, we will plant the coconut tree, and then we own this cultivation in a certain partnership, depending on how much effort they put in on top of that. And so now also we teach them how to be self-sustainable, because a coconut tree will take 5, 6, 7 years to start bearing, but it will bear for another 30, 40, 70, 80 years. So think about that long-term investment. And so that's the barrier to most people wanting to plant it. It doesn't bear right away, and it covers a lot of area from other crops. But we implement crop rotation, where if you have a land, we teach you how to make a pond in the land. So then the coconut tree will be over here, close to the pond, halfway between the pond and the high spot. Now the coconut, you don't even have to water it. It'll get water from the pond. There will be fish in the pond. Then on the high spots, you can plant cash crops, so you can have a food to survive on. And if you plant enough, you can sell to your neighbors or even barter. You have potato, you can get belange or eggplant or plantain, something from your neighbors. And so you're bartering, and you don't have to worry about food security.
Wow, I love that. And
very nice.
I love how you said, because especially in the developing countries, right, with that, the dollar exchange rate. I love how you put in that investing side of the branch to your company to be able to help them out and get that starting. Also informing them on crop rotation, which is very important. So
Yes.
they can get some stuff going while their future is growing, I should say, at the same time.
Yes.
They can feed themselves, they can make some sort of income, and they're also not destroying the soil by overusing it, right?
Totally.
The other thing I want to bring up here is I love your idea of international entrepreneurship, right? So recently I've been watching some interviews with one of them was with Chip Wilson and how he started Lululemon, and how originally that was just to talk to the Japanese market. What are some of your tips for entrepreneurs who might be in a first world country and just be thinking, okay, how can I just serve this one, when there's like over 150 other countries in the world that might also need that same solution? Maybe not your country, but another might. So how can they start to expand their mind to the world, different countries in the world, rather than just their own?
Yeah, America has less than 400 million people. Canada has less than 40 million. Together, America and Canada is still not 500 million, which is 500 million. There's almost 8 billion people in the globe. So we might think, oh, America's a big market, or Canada. There's 8 billion people in the globe. So that's why technology, there's so much room for growth. That's why I tackle entrepreneurship, because it involves farming and trading and actually doing the right thing to protect the environment. Because with climate change, regardless of what you believe to be the cause of climate change, there is proof that the temperature is going warmer and warmer. It could be man-made, it could be natural. I don't go into that. I say, okay, if the ice in the North Pole is melting all the time, it's going to cause flooding in the whole globe. Our quality of air is going to deteriorate with the continuing of pollution, which is why electric cars are a great invention, and I love Elon Musk for that. Now those are macro things, and I help entrepreneurs to go after something they're passionate about and show them how it actually plugs in to one or more of the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goal, or any of the other ventures that's going on out there. Because sometimes people do things that are great for the environment, but nobody tells them, hey, you're doing a great job. This is amazing. The country don't have incentive for them. So I like to work with developing countries and say, hey, these guys are doing a great job. How can we incentivize them? How can we give them an award? How can we put them on the spotlight so people know what they're doing?
Mm-hmm. I think that's absolutely amazing that you say you're giving people incentives. It's very similar to I forget the country, but the Muhammad Yunus, how he made his bank for all the Bangladeshi villagers, and because he was making that micro credit. So having those kinds of incentives actually boost productions and like expands the labor market with, having all. That's why entrepreneurs are so great, because you in turn produce a labor market that can make the world a better place in so many different aspects. So I really, really like that. And you're doing so much right now. You're a dad, you're a husband, you're out there saving the world. How do you balance it all? Do you have any like time management tips for us?
My desk has piles and I have stuff in the living room and the other 2 offices, and it's crazy. It's the easiest answer is you need to build a team. You have to find like-minded people. I'm a big picture person, so I'd find a like-minded person with the agriculture and partner with them over there. And then I'm doing real estate, and so I have other people who are interested in real estate. Entrepreneurs, it's basically finding a solution that's faster, cheaper, and easier. That's what makes you a great entrepreneur. You're able to find a solution to a problem faster, cheap, and more efficient. And so when you offer your service to someone, it's a no-brainer. Yeah. Every business want to know, will I save money or make more money? Yes. It's going to take me more time or less time? Less time. Is it going to give me a lot of headache? No, it's simple. That's why you sign up for this thing, because we're going to do the work for you. So that's what it's all about. Building a right team is so important. Of course, you have to collaborate to be great, but you have to be cautious of who you collaborate with. You're not going to go meet somebody off the street right away and just say, okay, you're going to be 50-50 partners with me. And here you go. And here's the password, PIN number to the bank account, or here's the company credit card. No, it comes with relationship capital is actually what we need to build. Relationship. And that's actually the next book I'm doing. As a publisher, I publish a new book every year, and I invite other people to be a part of it. And so the next book I'm doing is called The Handbook to Powerful Collaboration. C4, that stands for like a bomb that explodes. So when you collaborate, and this is a little physics and science in it, and a bit of a joke. So when you collaborate, you get an explosion. And it's all about how to build relationship capital for maximum success. So when you ask me, that's how I do it. We're actually collaborating. I'm so honored to be on your show. We're doing some business venture in the back end. I don't know how much of that you want to share, but there's so much. But we know each other for 2 years, and so it takes time to find the right partners, to build trust, to build equity, and to change the world, which is the goal. To make the world a better place.
Very nice.
Fantastic.
And one of our other questions is, do you have any principles or rules that you live by? But you constantly talk about like relationships and collaboration. So at what point in your life did you realize that this principle was so important to your success?
Well, collaboration is a vehicle to get more achieved in a shorter period of time, right? Because here's a fact. The fact is, one, I don't know when it's going to be my last day on Earth, and it could be today, it could be tomorrow. Sorry, Raisa. It's like, sometimes we don't think about it. Every night we go to sleep and we just think we'll wake up. Who knows if Dr. Stacy, who knows if we're going to wake up? That's one thing that's the one thing that's certain, and that we're all going to die one day. And we don't know which day we'll die. But as we look at things, I start thinking that, my legacy will last longer than my lifetime. So get this, if your legacy will last longer than your lifetime, because after maximum about 100 years average, well, the average life expectancy is about, depending on the country, it could be 50, 60, 70, 80, 100, but maximum 120 years. I don't think nobody is in recent history. If I have that amount of time, well, we don't know. I can be gone tomorrow. So my goal is, every moment of the day that I have, I want to do something that will build my legacy, because that will last forever. So I'm using the time I spend on Earth physically to leave a lasting legacy. Why do we know Nelson Mandela? Why do we know Martin Luther King? Why do we know people like Gandhi? Why do we know Mother Teresa? Why do we know the Dalai Lama? These guys are amazing people. And they've put their own personal wants and gain aside just to serve humanity when they're alive. So when they're gone, even we still look up to them for inspiration.
Very
Wow,
nice.
I love that. And just to quickly backtrack for a second, when you mentioned, about building that team for the entrepreneurs watching, right? If you don't have a team, you just have another job, right? Because you're be the person who's going to be doing all the micromanagement or won't allow yourself to scale. So definitely grab a team, work that out, and you can hit up Raymond for some advice here and there. He knows what he's doing, right, Raymond?
Raymond, if you could have a billboard anywhere in the world, where would it be and what would it say?
Hey, it'd be like, basically, I'm Guyanese. That's where I'm from. I was born and raised. And this is actually the who's who of Guyana. So the number one business magazine in the world, actually. And this is the edition for Guyana. And so I was featured an entire page in the 2020 version. And of course, you're going to see here, it has my company, Local Experts, but it also has the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goal. And so your question really said, which is like, where do you even come up with this question from? I'd like to have a billboard in the country I was born and in the countryside, and for it to say, if I can do it, you can do it too. And that alone, I think that will, although if I can do it, you can do it too, it's like one sentence on it, but that will get people thinking that, hey, he was born here. And it's just being resourceful and going after opportunity and being curious and investing in myself and future, hiring mentors and just stretching myself to the next level always, because my goal is so big. So it'd be back in my home country. I want to have it everywhere, Raisa, but it'll have to be, to answer your question, have to be the first one, has to be back there.
All right, fantastic. And I just have two more questions for you, actually.
3. Well,
okay.
2 plus 1.
Yeah.
I'm good, guys. I'm good.
All right, fantastic. So my next question for you is, you've been actually very fortunate to be able to travel around the world, experience different cultures, different countries. What type of lessons have you learned from traveling that you can implement into business or can inspire someone else?
Yeah, the thing about traveling is that everybody, that's the best education you can ever have. If you never even went to school, just travel, because you would see people are the same everywhere. We all want the same things: family, love, relationship, food, safety, security. That's basically it. And as no matter what language, what color of the skin, what continent, everybody's the same. Everybody has a mommy and a daddy. That's how we came. Sometimes we don't have it throughout life living, but we were born from parents. So we have loving parents who wants the best for their children, and we have children that wants to have their own family when they grow up. And children's duty, I think. The great cultures in the world, you will see that the children, when they will become adult, they will take care of their parents. Yeah. Because and that's something I like to see, because people have their own free will, and people we could be selfish and ungrateful very easily because of all the external forces on us and even economic situation. But when we look back, where did we came from, right? We have to be grateful and thankful for God, whatever religion you are, and that, hey, there is, and the same thing, almost everywhere people believe in God. They know that there's something that created us, or there's an external force that looks over us. And so the best people are the one who has gratitude, and no matter what the economic circumstances, how wealthy they are or powerful, the ones that are down to earth, and that I'm fortunate in meeting, I get to meet kings and presidents and ambassadors, and most of them are really nice people.
All right, well, that goes amazing. That was a perfect tie-in to the next question, right? So do you want to read the next question?
No, you can go ahead.
All right, fantastic. So the next question was you've actually been, because of your traveling and because of your amazing success and work you've done, you've been able to meet many, many influential people. You just said you would be able to meet, kings and presidents and stuff, and also major leaders in the personal development and business industry. Just to name a few, you got Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, Kevin Harrington. Oh, there it is. Kevin Harrington, Bob Proctor, Brian Tracy, and Les Brown. So when you meet influential people, meeting these influential people, what type of lessons or patterns do you tend to see within them?
Can you ask the question again? It was a little bit fuzzy.
Okay, so because you've met such influential people, what type of trends or patterns do you see when you're talking with them?
Yeah, so in the span of 1 or 2 years, I wanted to meet all these legends to see what makes them legends. Like I invested a lot of money and time to even get to be on a front cover, write a book with this guy. He's 75 years old.
Wow.
And I wanted, it's a lot of money. And and I wanted to see what their secret was. I didn't just want to watch their YouTube channel or listen to them on radio or CD or YouTube alone, but I wanted to meet them, ask them questions, interview them, be next to somebody physically, let you feel the vibe, and know who they are, just by hanging out, having lunch and dinner with them. So what I realized, and the reason they're great is because they all kind of start from nothing. They all had life. Life happens to all of us. And I don't like saying it like that, but for the people that are negative and the pessimists of this world, life happens to all of us, because some people just complain and bitch, and sorry for my language, just complain and mourn around and just complains and not be thankful for life. When we complain, we curse our own destiny, so to speak. We curse the time we have alive, the awake breathing time, when our conscious is in control. At night, our subconscious is in control. So that takes a whole lot of different practice to train and develop. But you want to be, what I really learned from each of these guys is that they had a really hard life and they overcome. No matter what happened to them, they keep succeeding. And they're all very old. They're all about 70 years old. And so I'm like, wow, this is incredible. And I went to meet all of them because I want to be as successful or as great or even greater than them. But I want to do it earlier. I don't want to wait till I'm 75. But I also recognize that they had an amazing life, that they are 70, 75 years old, which is a blessing in itself.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for that, Raymond. And it's such a pleasure to speak with you, especially on all of your sustainable development goals, because I think that's where the world is moving to now in terms of entrepreneurship, is really now caring about our environment. So with everything that we have said, and thank you to our audience who has watched with us to this point, what do you have coming up? Events, books, what's next in store for you?
Plug yourself.
Plug myself. Yeah, I didn't get to mention, but I'm now fortunate to have an award made in my name. So it's called the Dr. Raymond Harlall I Change Nation Entrepreneurship Award. And so I'm able to now recognize my goal are to empower young entrepreneurs, because they are the powerful ones. They have the longest future ahead. They have the ability to change and adapt to what's going on in our world now. So going forward, I'm a publisher. I do a book every year. I do live events because COVID, we had paused this year, but we're open back up. I basically move to the US where it's less restrictions on quarantine and all that. Doesn't mean I'm being unsafe, but I realize as an entrepreneur, if this city, this province, this state, this country have stricter rules, and I can literally get in a plane or get in my car and go into a different area, and it's legal and fine, that's entrepreneurship. So I think what Zig Ziglar or Jim Rohn says, you're not a tree. If you don't like it, just get up and move, And so let's not be so sorrowful of what's going on in our environment, rather than let's take responsibility and control of what we do have control over. And so I'm always winning. I'm always open to help other people win also. That's why you'd see me on social media just sharing some stuff and wins that I got and what I'm doing, just because I want to allow other people to share in that. I love to try new things. Once I try it and it works, I like to share it so somebody else can benefit from that. You never know.
Amazing.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Raymond Harlall, for joining us today. Thank you. This was an amazing episode of Adults Teens Need to Know. Thank you to our viewers, our comments, all the likes, the loves. We appreciate it, and the shares. Make sure to share this everywhere. This has been a great interview, and this was presented by APSO. Awesome people.
Shaping our world.
Remember, you are awesome.
And you can make the world a better place. Bye.
Bye.